All right, another end to the week, and this week went pretty good. So if you recall from the last week's updates, one of the things I said is towards the end of the week I was feeling pretty fatigued, and I mentioned I thought this was really because I was starting to combine a lot of the cluster sets. So that's a way that this program has been building in volume. So instead of doing like sets of 8 or anything like that, instead it gives you like 9 sets of 3, which I think is good because it really allows you to focus in on the reps at hand. Traditionally speaking, whenever I have anything with more than 5 reps, which thankfully hasn't been too often, I really find that my form starts to break down, especially on things like squats and deadlifts. So I like how this program kind of splits it up into these small clusters of doubles or triples. However, that being said, because I'm not usually really in a wealth of time, I have to combine stuff to make things go quicker just because I know myself and I know I typically take a long time between sets, which I think is necessary when you're lifting heavy-ish for yourself. So in the past couple of weeks, what I had been doing, like I said, is I've been combining stuff or adding on a couple of reps with the intention of, instead of doing like 9 sets of 2, I might do like, I don't know, 5 sets of 3 and then maybe another 2 doubles or something like that. So I would combine stuff in order to get things done more quickly. But I think that finally caught up to me because last week I felt like crap. And this week I actually was pretty fatigued as well. So one of the things that I did, which I really like about this program, is the active fatigue management. So like 1 or 2 warm-up sets into the session, I adjust my fatigue levels based off how my warm-ups go. And what it does is it can scale back the weight or scale up the weight. So for instance, one of the things I've been doing on my squats is I've been keeping the fatigue this week kind of right around a medium range. For deadlifts, I scale it depending on how I feel. So if I can, I try to put more of the emphasis on the main competition style movements. So for me, that is deadlifts on Monday and then squats on Thursday, because otherwise everything else that I'm doing is a variation of those in some sense. So I'll try to back the fatigue off on there, or I should say increase the fatigue on those so it's a little bit easier. That way I'm feeling fresh for my main competition style movements. But one of the things I've actually been doing on bench is really not having too much fatigue, which is surprising because I've been benching a lot, 4 times per week. And it's tough to tell if my bench is getting better because it hasn't really been that much intensity on the bench. Although this particular week I did, I had 9 sets of 3 at 125 kilos, which is a pretty good amount for me. Weight-wise, I mean, I think that ends up being like 276 pounds, which isn't anything amazing, but I just want to kind of build that base up and really start getting used to it. And I think it'll be interesting to see how this program works out when I finally get into a peak, which I think should be my next block. So I think within another week or so, I should start ramping up because I think I do have a test out, which will be the first time I've tested in roughly around 20 weeks. So that'd be really interesting to see once we start kind of managing some of this fatigue, maybe backing off some of the movements and lowering the frequency some, or at least the intensity of those other movements, and really focus on those main competition style movements. So I'm excited to do that. And I think this week was definitely a good thing for me, backing off the fatigue a lot, as I still felt accomplished, because traditionally speaking, I've been hesitant to do so because I feel like that's kind of cheating myself and I'm not pushing myself, but got to really listen to my body. And I think that's the most important thing that you can do anytime you're in a training program, which is also tough to manage if you're in like a very linear type program where you don't have that kind of option, or you're not using RPEs and things of that nature, which in the past would eventually run me into the ground. So I might have gotten really strong, but it came at a cost of, towards the end of the training cycles, I felt really beat up and I couldn't maintain that high level of performance or work capacity. So that's it for this week. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July. If you celebrate that, I tried to wear some kind of Americana or flag every single day. I also use the Texas All-American Power Bar all week. I'll be doing a review of that as soon as I can, maybe next week or the week after. But in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay real big. And if you can't stay real big, there's pills and or other things to help you maintain or enhance that. Good luck and stay safe, my friends.